Let's talk tariffs. You might have heard the word tossed around in the news, especially when countries are arguing about trade, but what exactly are tariffs and why do they matter so much, especially in the auto industry? At first glance, tariffs might seem like a dry, technical topic, but in reality, they're at the heart of a massive crisis that's shaking up the global auto industry, affecting everything from the price of your next car to the jobs of thousands of workers. So, what is a tariff? In simple terms, it's a tax that a government charges on goods coming in from other countries. Imagine it as a kind of toll or cover charge that products have to pay to cross a border and enter a new market. The main goal behind tariffs is to make imported goods more expensive so that local products look like a better deal. It's a way for governments to encourage people to buy things made at home, supporting local businesses and workers. But tariffs aren't just about protecting local industries. Sometimes they're used as powerful bargaining chips in international negotiations, or simply as a way for governments to collect extra money for their budgets. Here's where things get tricky. In today's interconnected world, almost nothing is made entirely in one country anymore. Supply chains stretch across continents, and products are assembled from parts sourced from dozens of different places. Take cars, for example. Even if a car is assembled in the US, its engine might come from Japan, its electronics from South Korea, and its steel from Germany. The modern automobile is truly a global creation. So when the US government imposes a tariff on imported car parts, it's not just foreign companies that feel the impact. American automakers, who rely on those parts to build their vehicles, end up paying more too. That means higher costs for US manufacturers, even if the final product proudly wears a Made in America badge. Those extra costs often get passed on to consumers, making cars more expensive for everyone. Tariffs are supposed to protect local jobs and industries, but in a world where economies are so deeply connected, the effects can be unpredictable. Sometimes, instead of saving jobs, tariffs can actually put them at risk by making it harder for companies to compete. This tangled web of global trade, rising costs, and political maneuvering is at the center of the auto industry's current crisis, and that's where our story begins. Fast forward to April 2025. The Trump administration announces a sweeping 25% tariff on all imported cars and auto parts. This isn't a minor tweak, it's a sledgehammer to the industry. Suddenly, every $100 in imported parts costs $125, and a $30,000 imported car jumps by $7,500 before it even hits the lot. Experts estimate automakers will pay an extra $108 billion this year alone. The goal? Force companies to build more in the US and protect American jobs, but global supply chains can't be rebuilt overnight. Automakers are stuck paying the new tax on parts they can't source locally. The result? A full-blown crisis for the auto industry, unfolding right now. This isn't a future problem, it's happening today. Take Ford, an American icon. When you think of Ford, you might instantly picture the Motor City, Detroit, where the company's story began, and where its legacy still looms large. For generations, Detroit has been synonymous with American car manufacturing, a symbol of industrial might and innovation. But the reality of car manufacturing today is far more global than most people realize. The world has changed, and so has the way cars are built. Take the Ford F-150, for example. America's best-selling truck, and a symbol of American engineering. While it's assembled in Michigan, the story of how it comes together stretches across continents and oceans. Its parts come from everywhere. Engines from Mexico, electronics from Asia, wiring from Mexico. The steel might be sourced from Canada, the glass from Europe, and the tires from South America. Each component travels thousands of miles before it ever reaches the assembly line in the US. This isn't about cutting corners or sacrificing quality, it's about building the best product at the best price. Automakers rely on a global supply chain to keep costs down, improve efficiency, and stay competitive in a tough market. In fact, nearly half of all vehicles sold in the US are imported from other countries. Walk onto any dealership lot and you'll see cars from Japan, Germany, South Korea, and beyond. And even those cars that proudly wear a Made in USA label are often assembled with parts that have traveled the globe. The badge might say American, but the DNA is international. So, when a 25% tariff is slapped on imported auto parts, it doesn't just affect cars shipped in from overseas, it hits every vehicle built in America that depends on foreign-made components, which is almost all of them. The cost of building an F-150 goes up, not because American workers are earning more, but because the parts themselves are now taxed at a much higher rate. That means higher prices for manufacturers, and eventually, for buyers too. The policy that was supposed to help U.S. manufacturing is actually making it harder for American companies to compete. Instead of boosting jobs and production, it's raising costs and creating uncertainty. In today's global auto industry, tariffs don't just hit foreigners. They hit everyone, from the factory floor in Michigan to the shipping docks in Asia, and the dealerships on Main Street. The cure in this case is starting to look worse than the disease. Instead of protecting American jobs, it's putting them at risk. And Ford, the American icon, is feeling the pain, caught in the crossfire of a global trade war that's reshaping the very industry it helped create. Ford now faces a massive bill for the parts it needs. The obvious move? Raise car prices. But if Ford does that, buyers might just go to a competitor or skip buying altogether. For now, Ford is eating the extra costs, watching profits shrink with every sale. Meanwhile, other countries are hitting back. China, a huge market for Ford, slapped tariffs as high as 150% on US-made cars, forcing Ford to halt some exports. Ford's global strategy is in chaos, hit by tariffs coming and going. Politically, Ford can't risk being the first to raise prices and become a target. So they're stuck absorbing costs, pausing shipments, and hoping for relief. Every day the squeeze gets tighter. It's a high-stakes waiting game and Ford is losing money fast. The pressure is mounting from all sides. With all these new costs, why haven't car prices skyrocketed yet? Simple inventory. Dealers are still selling cars built before the tariffs hit. In March there was a 30 to 77-day supply of vehicles, so most cars sold in April and May were pre-tariff. Plus, when people heard prices might rise, they rushed to buy early, pulling demand forward and slowing sales after the tariffs started. Dealers are focused on clearing old stock, not raising prices. Automakers are also wary of being the first to hike prices and draw political fire. So for now, a mix of old inventory, slower demand, and political caution is keeping prices in check. But this is just a temporary bubble. The real impact is coming. The calm won't last. The pre-tariff inventory is running out fast. Once it's gone, every new car will have the 25% tariff baked into its cost. Automakers can't absorb these costs forever. Prices will rise, likely within the next few months. Expect the increases to roll out with the new model year, bundled with the usual upgrades. The reason for the hike? Officially it'll be new features, but really it's the tariffs. Bottom line, cars are about to get a lot more expensive. If you're shopping for a new car, your window for a deal is closing. The storm is about to hit. The US may have fired the first shot in this trade war, but the world isn't just standing by. Countries across the globe are responding with force, determined to protect their own industries and economies. What started as a single nation's move has now spiraled into a high-stakes global standoff, with every major player scrambling to defend their interests. China, the world's second-largest economy, has hit back hard. Its retaliatory tariffs have slammed the door on American auto exports, leaving U.S. carmakers scrambling to find new buyers and forcing dealerships at home to sit on unsold inventory. The impact is immediate and severe, with ripple effects felt by workers, suppliers, and entire communities. Meanwhile, Canada and Mexico, America's closest trading partners, are threatening to impose new tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum. These moves could trigger a fresh round of U.S. tariffs in response, escalating tensions and putting even more pressure on industries that rely on cross-border supply chains. In Europe, automakers are already feeling the pain, paying hundreds of millions in extra costs just to keep their cars moving across borders. With a July deadline fast approaching, the stakes are rising. If no deal is reached, President Trump has threatened to slap a massive 50% tariff on European cars, a move that could devastate the continent's auto industry and spark even more retaliation. Japan, another major player in the global auto market, is caught in limbo. Negotiators are locked in tense talks, uncertain whether they'll face new tariffs or find a path to compromise. For Japanese automakers, the outcome could mean the difference between growth and painful cutbacks. The global trading system is on edge. Business leaders, investors, and workers everywhere are bracing for the next escalation, knowing that every new tariff or threat can send shockwaves through markets and disrupt carefully balanced supply chains. This isn't just Ford's problem anymore. It's a worldwide economic storm, threatening jobs, investment, and growth in every corner of the globe. The uncertainty is making it harder for companies to plan, invest, and hire. Tariffs are creating a tangled web of new conflicts, making cross-border business more complicated and expensive for everyone involved. Companies are now forced to navigate a maze of regulations, delays, and rising costs just to keep their products moving. The stakes are massive and the uncertainty is spreading. From factory floors to boardrooms, anxiety is growing as the world waits to see who will blink first in this escalating trade conflict. The world is watching and waiting. Every headline, every tweet, and every negotiation could tip the balance, shaping the future of global trade for years to come. Car companies aren't just waiting for disaster, they're scrambling to adapt. Some, like Ford and Tesla, have paused shipments or changed sourcing plans. Others are considering building new factories in the US to dodge tariffs, but that takes years and billions of dollars. Companies with more US production are slightly better off, but no one is immune. Legal challenges are underway, but relief is slow. The biggest problem? Uncertainty. No one knows what the rules will be next month, let alone next year. Investment and planning are paralyzed. The industry is in a reactive crouch, making emergency decisions just to survive. The old playbook is out the window. The future of the auto industry is up in the air. So what does all this mean for you? In short, new cars are about to get more expensive, and used car prices will likely rise too. The days of pre-tariff deals are ending. If you need a car soon, brace yourself. Prices are going up. If you can wait, it might be wise to see how things shake out. No one knows if the tariffs will stick or get rolled back. This is a real-world lesson in how global decisions hit your wallet. The road ahead is bumpy, and for car buyers, it's about to get pricier.